In this demo, we'll configure Port Address Translation, or PAT. We have a single router with an inside and outside interface that we'll configure NAT on. We'll allow all the internal private IP addresses to overload the single IP address assigned to the outside Fast Ethernet 0.1 interface on this router. When configuring PAT or NAT overload, there's no need to create a pool of outside public addresses. Let's look at the router config. On the router, we'll do a full NAT config. We'll start by entering config T. Then we go to the inside interface by entering interface F00. Next, we'll designate it as NAT inside by entering IP NAT inside. Once it comes back, we go to the outside interface by entering interface F01. Then type IP NAT outside to designate it as outside. The next step is to create an access list permitting all the internal IP addresses to be NAT translated. Type access list 1 permit followed by the IP address and subnet mask 192.168.1.0, 0.0.0.255 and press enter. Then type IP NAT inside source list 1 to reference the access list we just created. But this time, we'll use the interface option and designate the outside interface as F01 and overload. When we press enter, all the internal IP addresses that go through this router get converted on the outside to the IP address of the Fast Ethernet 0.1 interface. You might ask how this works when you have one IP address standing in for all the internal IP addresses. It works because NAT in overload mode automatically assigns a unique port number to each outgoing connection. When the traffic returns, that port number is used to indicate the internal host the traffic is intended towards. We'll see that. Let's go to a workstation and initiate an outbound connection and see how this works. We're at a workstation prompt now. We ping an outside resource, ping www.yahoo.com. Success. Now we can go back to the router and examine the NAT translation that it just created. We're back on the router. We'll type show IP NAT translation. And we can see that the internal IP address of the workstation, 192.168.1.1, was converted to the outside address of Fast Ethernet 0.1 in the router. Notice there are port numbers following each of these IP addresses, hence the name Port Address Translation. Each outgoing connection is assigned a unique port so that when return traffic comes back, it references that port number. The router knows that the returning packet should be sent to that inside address. As you can see, Port Address Translation, or NAT overload, as it's called, reduces the number of public IP addresses needed. You can reuse one address for as many internal hosts as you have. That's it for this demo. In this demo, we configured Port Address Translation, or PAT.